Vacationing, he stands patiently under a hotel sign that blinks vacancy. He's seeking maybe he's too late to make the drop off till a truck coming his way breaks and stops short. And now he's out of sorts. You can see he's sorta nervous walking through the passenger door to meet his ordered service. This is someone's daughter working. Blames his conscience when the driver says she's my youngest. Her name is Constance, he comments, and it's only $6 per visit. Just don't leave any marks on her. It hurts business. Thought for a minute and confessed that's fair, since it was $3 less than his cab fare. How old are you, honey? She says I'm 13, her nose is runny. It's raining in the Philippines. He handed over the money. In a chilling scene, the truck drives off and now he's on the hunt to kill her dreams. The sign reads no vacancy. He leads Constance to a room. He is rented for tapency. He's about to turn 6 into 6,000, and all you gotta do is click on your web browser. It's not illegal to use raping as a cash crop as long as it says she's 18 on your laptop. The sound of rain is a backdrop, laying there like she's waiting for somebody to say they care. While the tears of God fall down a window pane, she feels unholy like the father doesn't know her name. Mary Magdalene, the woman at the well, he knew everything that happened, and in his arms she fell. And all alone in his household, he's tempted by the quiet he feels and the mouse he holds. The silence of his spouse is cold, so he's about to help that man get his 6,000 gold. One click and now she's sold, withholding his conscience. Scrolling through the comments, there she is looking confident. A picture of Constance in a series of video clips, adult content. The title blinks in bold letters like the vacancy sign. It's his time to go get her. It's like his mind doesn't know better. Her soul is crying out, let me go, but he won't let her. He got her trapped inside his media player, held captive by his need to replay her. It's a matter of he being here and she being there. That's why he doesn't feel the need to care. Guilt is in the seed he bears, spilling his shares of the profit on a $500 million market, where children are regarded as product and traded like stock tips and raped for the sake of our pockets. His laptop sits like a window in the Constance room, where he exits cause it's almost noon, and he's expecting his wife home soon with new clothes for the baby. She'd be angry if he saw his new lady, a 13-year-old Filipino named Constance. Trust me, girl, God has not forgotten. He knew Mary Magdalene and the woman at the well. He knows everything that happens, and in his arms she fell.
It's a tough video to follow. My name's Craig Gross, and about 7 years ago, I started this website called XXXchurch.com. And as you saw on the screen, the video Constance, written by a friend of ours named Mr. J. And I think it clearly describes the conflict of many of us might have that are looking at these images on the screen, and that video might hit you at home tonight because you realize those aren't just images, those are people. The conflict of many of the people that I've met amongst the adult industry that necessarily don't want to be doing what they're doing, but for some reason, the money or other things that they keep at it. And tonight, as we talk about this issue, it's a serious issue, an issue that I spent the last 7 years of my life working on. I met your Pastor Miles last week in San Diego at an NFL conference. And if you could tell, I'm not an NFL player. I'm not one of those boys that, I'm not one of his guys that did that, but I think I could take him. But that's another thing. But no, it was just great time that we had in Carlsbad, being able to be with some of these players. And then he said, hey, come to my church and do what you just did on Sunday. So just blessed to be here with you all these services. Just an amazing, amazing place. So thanks for having me. But well, thank you. So the issue with pornography, I mean, I'm 33, so when I was growing up, I didn't find it. I couldn't find it. I was 4'6" in sixth grade, so I couldn't reach the top rack on the liquor store magazine. And a friend of mine stole one once, and so I was lucky enough to see that. But there wasn't experiences that I had time and time again with this stuff. So I was barely around it. Actually, I graduated college in 96 without a personal computer. I didn't even have one in college. Those days are gone. I don't think you can get out of junior high without a computer these days. And I got into the ministry, met my wife, and I escaped what many of you are belonging to as part of this porn generation. People that have grown up around this. You see these images, you see these things, it's no big deal. I was dealing with youth, though. I was a youth pastor, and I noticed that common theme amongst them, that they didn't even have to search for it. You don't have to work hard for this anymore. You have to work really tough to avoid it. You know, we used to have to look really hard to find it. Now you have to work really hard to avoid this because it's everywhere. So we had this idea, let's start something, not boycott, picket, shut down the industry. Let's try and offer people help. There's an AA group in every city in the United States. If you struggle with gambling, if you struggle with other addictions, there's help for you. But what about those of us that have struggled with this issue? What about those people that haven't told a soul? Because the stats don't lie. About 76% of people look at porn all by themselves. So why don't we talk about it at church? I mean, we don't want to talk about this issue anywhere because this is a very private matter. This is an issue that most of us are dealing with ourselves, and we've never told anybody. The issues that are pretty alarming these days. About 11 years old is the average age that someone sees porn now because of the internet. It's also one of the fastest growing addictions among senior citizens. Yeah, some of you should be a little freaked out on that. You've got senior citizens, you've got 11 years old. A third of the people that look at this are women. So we started a website unaware of all that. We thought this was just a young guy's problem. Little did we know the magnitude of this. There's 400 million pornographic web pages on the internet. 400 million. It's enormous. And obviously there's other ways to get porn. There's still the seedy, kind of part of town where you can get the adult-rated videos, magazines everywhere. But now you don't have to go there. You can go to the private of your room, your cell phone, your Xbox, your Wii. I mean, all these places that are hooked up to the internet, this is where it's available. And what we wanted to do with XXX Church is offer people help. So we create this safe place online to tell people that you're not alone. I think Satan would love to trick us into thinking that you're the only one going through this when really you're not. A lot of times people say, well, what's the big deal with porn? Well, the big deal with porn is it isn't real. It's not what you're going to find in a real relationship. This is actually, if this has become your sex ed, this is going to hurt your future relationship because it's unrealistic. Most of the porn that's put out there is put out there for the men to enjoy. Obviously, there's some genres for women and this and that, but for most of the men, it's taught men that this is what women like. And yet there's no needs or feelings or emotions involved in this. It's all selfish. So you get into a real relationship, and the experts are saying that you don't even know how to handle a real relationship because it looks nothing like your porn. So instead of that real relationship, you'll opt for more and more porn. And if you're struggling with it tonight, you get the progressive nature of this. That what you looked at months ago, now you need much more. Maybe some of you are still struggling just online, but eventually it will take you offline. Eventually it will take you to places that I think you're not proud of, places that you never thought you would go. When I started this ministry 7 years ago, I didn't think we'd get letters from people in jail. I didn't think that every service today, as soon as I got off this stage, a woman met me and said, this is why I'm divorced. Before I even got back to the back table and met countless and a number of other women that said, this is the reason why I lost my husband. A lady crying after the last service saying, I don't want my life to be like this. This isn't what I signed up for. And we don't have those answers sometimes. But this is how devastating this issue is. We decided to launch our ministry at a porn convention. I mean, where else? I mean, if this is what we're actually trying to do, I found out about it through the radio. A guy named Howard Stern. So he was talking about how he was going to be there. And I thought, if he has every right to be there, why shouldn't we show up there? And the thought was, you can't blame the dark for being dark. You got to blame the light for not shining on the dark. And so we called him up.